Good morning. Can you hear the HVAC? Is it disturbing, distracting?
No,
Oh,
Zoom blocks it out. That's the beautiful thing about Zoom.
you know what? I was having some unstable, so you can't see me. So let me. So I guess what I'm going to talk about is my journey into AI and programming. There we go. So that's what I look like. So I was introduced to Loveable by Robert, a friend of mine, I think 3 months ago. And I discovered certain things. It was almost like I use this analogy where you ask Prince how to play the guitar, and he's like, "No, I don't have time for you." And then all of a sudden, when Lovable came about, it was almost like, "Oh my God, I can play every instrument." It was such a eye-opening because I come from an environment where when I wanted things done, when Zena and I had an idea of Natural Instincts, which was became the main, eventually Natural Hair Weekly and the Natural Hair magazine. I wanted an app for. I moved from Chicago to the South, and there was a migration from the south, from the north to the south, and a lot of people were moving from the north. And I worked for Christian Fields, a very popular salon in Chicago. And I kept getting asked, where are the natural hairstylists? Where are the products? And black women were doing the big chop, and it was hard to get a stylist. And so I thought, wouldn't it be good if there was a directory or an app? And it was at this time, um, a lot of dot coms were moving to Austin, and I found that there was this not a snobbish attitude. There was a lot happening in tech where there was this diversity in tech issue, and then there was also the tech bros. They had the C++ and the JSON and the Python. They knew all of this coding, and they had the barriers to this new frontier of technology. And it was so annoying because I couldn't do it. And like everything else, you forge away, right? You use the tools that you have. So a couple of months ago, Robert said, I need to talk to you. And he said, check this out. And it was Lovable. And what was incredible is you play around with the new thing, right? And or a new tool. And you either reject it, like when you were younger, you play an instrument, what grabs you. And it was a feeling like I had never had before. If you know me, I can be very verbose, and AI likes me. So I'm very happy about that. So what I've learned is as it develops, I can talk to it. Now before that, I must preface this by saying I loved ChatGPT, and from 3 to 4.0 to all of the things. And it was just a remarkable tool. And I wasn't scared of it. I embraced it. And so what I found was a lot of my friends and people that were, especially during COVID, they would start their own businesses, and they would have like Squarespace, Wix, and they'd have all these things because they too didn't know how to build websites. But what happens with them is they didn't know WordPress, Elementor, and things were quickly shifting. And so what I did was to start training, I'd remix their websites, and I would tell it what to do, the things that I knew about their business that they wanted to sell, that they wanted to get awareness, that they wanted to. And the more, and I think Zena sent me a video about this guy that developed Lovable. And listening to the video, he said it's the last piece of software you'll ever need. And I thought, wow, that's a lofty flipping statement, right? But he said if you pay attention and you get to learn it, and you're in that 1%, you're gonna be like so I ran with it, and I found that I fell in love with it. And the there were certain things that I learned. With the business model, a lot of people run to Lovable, and they were just spending a lot of money, right? And the credits, and I saw the pay structure. So I likened Lovable using ChatGPT. I likened it to a musician. When you pay for the studio, you're paying to go in and record the track. You're not going in there to write the track. You're going in there with the instruments. It's, if you know the music industry, you pay for studio time. You go in there, you got to lay the track. You might come up with some ideas or some, let's change the hook. But what happens is a lot of people would go in there and they'd be writing. Well, the metaphor is that ChatGPT allowed me to write and play for $20 an hour, then create a PRD, the product requirement document. And then I asked ChatGPT one day, and this is when everything fell into place. I said, "Are you familiar with the Loveable platform?" And it said, "Yes, it's da 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 da." And it gave me this. So what I did was I started pushing and being talkative. And, I've always used AI as an assistant. That was the joy of it, getting things done. And I would play in ChatGPT for as much as I can. So, for instance, the first website that I did was for a natural hair salon. And I asked ChatGPT to look at the hair salon. This is what they want to do. This is what they want. Can you create a PRD and also the prompts to create the website in Loveable? And I was really shocked by how detailed um, AI had become, because by then I think it was 4.0. And what it did was it gave me everything. So I thought, well, hold on. A lot of people aren't using it. We're all trying to figure it out, right? And money and resource and time. And a lot of times with, oh, Dr. Charmaine, a PRD is a product requirement document. So when you're building something um, with tech, you need a PRD, and it lays out um, what the objective is. And what it does, it minimizes scope creep and it minimizes analysis paralysis. It just gives you a concise, this is what we're doing, this is the directive, and this is where we're going. And a lot of times, like how you go onto Wikipedia and you just want to know what temperature water boils. And then you find out that, wow, Concorde had delta wings. And you're like, how did I get there? So, you can get lost in the source and doom scrolling. So PRD keeps you like focused. So as I was developing the roadblocks in these things on remixing these sites and seeing how Loveable had the potential to be a giant killer with Wix and Squarespace and WordPress, and the ease of which this vibe coding became, I would run into certain problems. And one of them was I did not know how to integrate APIs. I didn't know, I wasn't very versed at agents and the buzz that I heard. I didn't know how to use Zapier. And I didn't know, I heard about the rumblings of N8N and agents. So I would use things like, I had a Calendly account and Loveable would put it in there. So there were some workarounds when I thought in an innovative way. Well, what started to happen was with Superbase and GitHub, Loveable started to teach me how to do these things step by step. And so I got really excited, started building out stuff. Working with Mimi has been a pleasure because with Measure, we've been able to accomplish some really great things in terms of how the platform looks, how it looks on your phone and everything else. So let me tell you where I am now. Um, a friend of mine said, "Hey, listen, I need you to look at this marketing report for this company, this consultancy." And what they were doing was they were charging something like $16,000, five figures, to report back to them their Google Analytics, how their landing pages were done. And they were just reporting to them. And they were doing, yes, they were doing some search engine optimization like zip codes and everything else. But they weren't pushing the envelope. They weren't doing a landing page creation. They weren't doing anything to move the needle. And they were charging a heck of a lot of money. So I said, I put it, I saw what the company that they had was doing. And I asked ChatGPT, is there a simplified way to do this? Is there a way to report to the company? And is there a way to save money based on I was privy to the information? ChatGPT not only gave me what was current and up to date, their marketing obviously was antiquated from 2 years ago or 3 years because they had a contract. But what ChatGPT did was simplified it, and I sent the project back to the person, Terence, and he said, "Okay, let me present this," and then I got the contract. So I then said to ChatGPT, "Look, I work. I gave it my when I work. I told it when the time that I had, because I can kind of let time. And this is something that let me tell you, sir. This is something Zena and I were talking about the other day. What do you do when you have more time? And it's like when you have more money, right? You start spending more. During COVID, we saved money. But when now that we've got time, we start to fill it. And we're not spending more time with kids. We're not going to the parks and enjoying nature. We're like, and it happened during COVID. It was Zoom meetings back to back to back. Hold on, I got to jump off. I've got to, we're becoming to, and I was like, well, how do we use this? So ChatGPT created a schedule for me, 2 hours a day, how to monitor this, how to monitor that. I said, okay, can you also tell me how to integrate their CRM? So I was actually doing it for me because I wanted to be accountable. And it created a dashboard for me. And the dashboard had everything that I needed. Monday, you do this, Tuesday, you did this. And that was one. That was the marketing plan. Then it created a dashboard that pulled in their CRM from Google. This is how you do the metrics. When I showed this to the client, they said, hold on, we use different companies to do this. We use Salesforce to do this. We use Service Titan to do this. We use Google Analytics to do this. And then we use Nextdoor and we use Yelp. I had created a dashboard for myself to be accountable to their marketing that ChatGPT and Loveable created. And so what I did was I said, go to this website, look at their branding and their colors, create a dashboard that will be for this company. And it did it. And not only did I get a lot of kudos for it, it was holding me accountable. But one thing that it did for the company was it saved them time because they have meetings to have meetings and they'll have the marketing department talk to the advertising department, but everybody could be on this meeting and see the metrics. And there's this saying the right hand shouldn't know what the left hand is doing. But that's BS because imagine trying to text like that and your body, we have to be in sync. And what it also did was everybody was held accountable at that meeting because everybody could see. You couldn't blame Johnny for not having the report because he had uploaded it and they were now. And so they saw that I was cutting down time, increasing efficiency and production on a dashboard. And so now I've started to create dashboards that increase productivity in your life, with your company. And at the bottom, there are admin roles who's importing the data, when they did it. So the boss doesn't have to chase up anyone. You can go to the dashboard and see everything. So where I am now is I asked ChatGPT because I wanted to, I prefaced this by saying I have a company and an agency called Websprintpro, and I'll put it in the message. And I knew that I wanted to follow the plan of, thank you. Um, I wanted to go for low hanging fruit because I had done this remix for these Squarespace and Wix, which were very basic and blocky. But now I could add video. Sora was out. I could create video content. I could pull in APIs. I could get people to love their website again because it's your calling card, right? And it's responsive on the phone. Well, lo and behold, I went for low hanging fruit and I said, there are people that are on Etsy. I could pull in, I remember one day trying to create a cart and the person had an Amazon affiliate account. I gave it the Amazon affiliate account website. It not only pulled in all of the product, all of the descriptions, it created a cart for it and I could hyperlink everything to Amazon. So I was really happy that this new technology is allowing us to be super efficient. And so what I did was I created an agency called Websprintpro, which is based on the fact that I asked ChatGPT, what are 10 questions I could ask someone to get the best MVP, the best version off their website that they wanted. And the questions were like, what's your industry? What are your colors? What separates you? And ChatGPT gave me these 10 questions. When I do a consultation with someone, I always tell them, talk from your heart. What is it that you do? Don't tell me you're just a musician. Tell me I want my music to touch people. I want it to make them feel this way. And what it does is it really gives you something that you want. So people pay me a 50% deposit to have the consultation on Calendly. The API pulls in the questions. I then have ChatGPT take the questionnaire, what the person wants to achieve, and then it prompts to create the PRD and the Loveable prompts to create the first edition of their website. So within 24 hours, by the time that I meet them, they've got their first edition of their website. And I've accounted for buyer's remorse because everybody loves the website. Oh my God, Bakunzi, man, it's wicked. It's brilliant. I said, let it sit, let it sit for about 24 hours. And then they come back and say, well, I could really use if you did this, that. And you always have to account for buyer's remorse or people having that first dopamine hit and then wanting to get back. So that's been my journey. It's been less than 4 months that I've been able to create more than 31 websites, a dashboard that has helped companies. And I truly believe that when you get a tool which is as dynamic as this, I've always said AI, you're going to either be very dumb and lazy, sorry, not dumb, lazy, or you're going to be very good. Clear the airport people that when you go through security and some other companies that I've noticed, start their emails with, I hope this message finds you well. And that lets me know that even these interns and the people that are there, I don't even want to blame millennials or anyone. It could just be a lazy older person that's using it. They are not looking at the process and involving and inputting a human element to it, making it their own. And so we have to be very careful, responsible, and ethical when we use this new technology. So you guys, thank you for listening. And that's been my journey. And I'm really excited of learning from you all. It's been an amazing time listening to you guys and learning.
Thank you, SeBakunzi. That's inspirational. In 4 months, yes, Dr. Charmaine, from idea to execution to generating money. It's very cool. Any questions? We have a couple minutes left, or questions, closing thoughts.
Just a comment. Just a comment, Zena. Brother did a great job there from a prompt curation perspective, right? There used to be this marketing comment for those of us who are I'm a retired marketer, right? That content was king, but SeBakunzi just exhibited for us that context is king, right? So that was well done, man. Really well done. I appreciated that presentation.